The Mennonites of Chihuahua are famous for their cheese. But imagine a single wheel that requires 33,000 liters of milk.
Okay.
That's how much was required for the Mennonites of the Pampas Cheese Factory to win a world record. On the other side of town, another Mennonite family is famous for something else.
This is insane.
Mennonite cheese pizza.
Pa, okay.
Back in my kitchen, another classic dish that uses Mennonite cheese, a piping hot Chihuahua potato soup.
It's just so satisfying.
Then, the only world record I may hold is making the cheesiest, richest, most velvety, smooth cheesecake.
I don't have any more for now, Mila. What a feast!
So succulent. These beans are insane. In the early 20th century, Mennonite settlers, originally from Europe, arrived in Mexico seeking farmland and tranquility to practice their unique form of Christianity undisturbed. They are famous for their simple way of life. Men typically work in the fields, and women cook and clean. More conservative colonies don't believe in technology, while more progressive ones, like here in Cuauhtémoc, have embraced it to advance one of their main businesses, cheese.
Entonces, John, platícame un poquito cómo funciona la quesería. ¿Esta es la quesería o una de las queserías principales de Cuauhtémoc?
Sí, es una de las queserías primeras que se fundaron aquí en México cuando llegaron aquí los Mennonites.
Desde el año
1922 llegaron los primeros.
Johan Guenther, who also goes by John, is the general manager of Las Pampas Cheese Factory and explains how cheese became the pillar of the Mennonite economy.
Tenían que ir aprendiendo a ver cómo iban a poder trabajar y así empezaron a hacer quesos en sus casas.
Ajá.
Y en la estufa pusieron una olla con poquita leche, empezaron a hacer queso y vieron que funcionaba y se fueron haciendo grandes y más grandes. Esta quesería lo hicieron en 1950.
Ah, desde entonces.
Y las personas que querían tomar acciones aquí en la quesería tuvieron que pagar 1,200 pesos en aquellos años.
Como una cooperativa.
Sí. Llega la pipa de la recolección de los productores de leche, conecta la manguera.
Ajá.
Y se conecta aquí y se pasa para adentro, se pasa por unos filtros. Si quiere vamos a seguir caminando.
¡Vamos! We're gonna follow the milk from here to cheese. ¿Es esta?
Sí.
Por aquí entra de fuera.
Entra aquí.
¿Esto qué es?
Esos son filtros para filtrar la leche para que llegue limpia.
At the heart of the factory is their signature process. Thousands of gallons of milk pass through these pipes every day. First, it's pasteurized. Then, cultures and enzymes are added. The curds are separated, and finally, the cheese is cut into shapes and aged for 3 months. The workers of Las Pampas are so good that since 2012, they've held the Guinness World Record for the world's largest cheese, 3 tons.
Ya listos a la venta. Aquí son ruedas de 4 kilos.
Ajá.
It makes me curious how much I can carry at one time.
Aquí hay
Ok. A ver, ponme otras dos.
de estas.
Sí. Vamos a ver cuánto aguanto.
para
4,
para hacer
8,
12.
12.
Otro.
Sí. Strength test.
16.
Otra. Oh,
20.
ok. ¿Y eso de poner los 3 meses es porque son las reglas
Sí,
de
son
cuánto
reglas.
tienes que decir? Ok.
Y así
Pero
es.
en verdad el queso puede seguir madurando y
el-
agarrando sabor.
Sí. El queso, la verdad, no se echa a perder. Yo una vez hice una prueba con unos quesos y lo traía 2 años.
Ah,
Entre
más rico.
más tiempo se llevaba de queso, de tiempo, más rico, más fuerte estaba. Así,
Maduro.
sí, así
Sí.
para comerse con un vino tinto.
The factory store stays busy all day, serving people from all over the world.
I'm gonna try all the cheeses here with John, but I wanna find out what are people buying when they come here. ¿Usted qué va a comprar?
Estos que estoy comprando
Ajá.
me los voy a llevar para Kansas City.
Ok.
Y entonces llevo para darles un queso a cada uno de mis amigos y unos para nosotros. Hasta el pastor de la iglesia
Ajá.
siempre le lleva un queso, unos dos quesitos.
¡Ay, me encanta!
The store has endless homemade treats. John's aunt makes a killer apple empanada.
Vamos a probar. Usted también. Vamos a probar. ¿Huele?
No, está bien rico ese empanada de manzana.
Está buenísimo.
Sí, sí está bien rico.
Now for the main event, John has cheeses of varying ages to compare. The first was made only 48 hours ago.
Este es el fresco.
El queso Pampas, el fresco,
Ok.
lo vamos a probar aquí, lo que es de calidad.
A ver.
Muy rico el queso Pampas. No porque lo fabrico, porque sé cómo es fabricado, cómo está
Está
hecho.
muy fresco.
Ujú. Sí, ese está hecho el sábado.
Sabe joven, como un queso muy joven. Y de aquí, ¿cuál nos sigue para probar?
Sí, este. Como 2 meses.
2 meses.
Ujú.
De entrada, ya se
Más-
siente mucho más cremoso.
Más cremoso, así es.
Este me gusta más.
Sí, a mí también.
Now for a 3-month aged queso with bread and a homemade strawberry jam made by John's wife.
Uno para ti y ahora uno para mí. So, white bread from the Mennonite community, strawberry jam from Ana, and queso añejo from John.
Qué rico.
I want to show you a simple and delicious traditional dish from Chihuahua that uses Mennonite cheese, Chihuahua potato soup.
We're gonna make this caldo de papa estilo de Chihuahua, which is a potato soup they eat all throughout the state in Chihuahua, and its main ingredient is Mennonite cheese.
Sounds good.
I started peeling and dicing some potatoes, but I'm missing one. If you wanna help me peel, and then we're gonna dice into bite-sized pieces. And here I have water that I've been bringing to a boil, and I'm gonna make the tomato broth. Okay, so I'm adding a pound of the ripe Roma tomatoes, and I'm gonna peel 2 garlic cloves. So I'm adding the peeled garlic clove in here, and I'm gonna add the morita chipotle, dried chipotle chiles. Putting the chipotle in here.
Okay.
So now that's going to cook and hydrate. So now we're gonna cook some onion. I like cutting it in half and slivering it. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of oil, 1 very generous tablespoon of butter. We're gonna add this onion in there. The next thing we're gonna add is a potato, but we're gonna let these soften a little. Now we're gonna puree. So you want the skin to start peeling. You don't wanna overcook it to the point that the ingredients are breaking apart in the water. So we're gonna add all the tomatoes,
The garlic and the chipotle.
and then the garlic that already cooked and softened. And then we're gonna add like about a cup of the cooking liquid.
A
You're
patty
gonna-
cup or a semi cup?
A patty cup. ¿Sabes que en México, en español decimos a ojo de buen cubero?
Sí.
Which means like you eyeball it. And I'm keeping an eye on your onions. I want them to soften and render their flavor into the butter. And then we're gonna add a patty teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon coarsely ground black pepper. And then I measured a teaspoon of dried oregano. Okay, now we're gonna cover the blender and we're gonna puree until completely smooth. Before we add these, we need to add the potatoes. Let's talk about the next ingredient. We're adding the northern chile verde. The idea is that you want to completely transform the skin. So you put it directly over the flames, así. You just go like that. You leave it there, and it's really fun because you start hearing it pop.
Already, yeah.
Oye.
That's not too charged? That's what
No, that's what you want. Then you put it in a bag or a container and you make them sweat. Mila, you're so stinky, but we love you so much. Okay, I'm gonna let you do it. See how easy it peels? This is a fire roasted chile verde cleaned by Sammy. Then I like having the bowl here because then you can use the water to rinse.
Yeah.
You make a slit, just the top coat. Quítale el stem.
Just come back like that.
See? A pound of chile verdes that I cut into strips.
How many chiles would this have been?
A pound is like between 4 and 6.
Oh, wow, okay.
Okay, now let's cut this into strips like this. Can you pour the tomato puree in here? And as this continues to thicken and season, we can talk about the cheese. This cheese comes straight from the Mennonites in Chihuahua. Not so easy to find. Like, you can order it online. You can ask your Latino grocery stores if they have it. Taste a little. What would you substitute these for?
So yeah, I think Monterey Jack. Maybe cheddar.
So Monterey Jack, a light cheddar,
Yep.
Munster. Okay, let's add the chicken broth. You just poured 6 cups chicken broth. Let's add the chile verde. Now we're gonna give it a stir. Okay, now
It keeps
let's
going
taste
better,
for salt. I know. What do you think? Salt?
Yeah, a little more salt, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have it over high. Like, if we weren't that hungry, I would let it simmer over medium heat for like 7 to 8 minutes. But we're hungry, so. Okay, while this is simmering, let's dice the cheese, like little square, let's see, so that they melt more. We have dried oregano in the soup. I think we need some fresh oregano to garnish. Okay, so this is our topping. That's perfect. It's just so satisfying. For people who love potatoes, this is incredible.
Yeah.
You get the soft bite of the potato, flavor from everywhere. Like from the broth, you get the chili strips. I love these so much.
If you think of the cheesiest dish you've ever eaten, it's probably pizza. Now, let's swap out your average cheese for the world-famous Mennonite cheese. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Enter Los Arcos, the first Mennonite pizza shop in Cuauhtémoc, Chihuahua.
Hola.
Hola, muy buenas tardes, bienvenidos.
Abraham, mucho gusto.
Hola.
Hola, Josh, ¿verdad?
Sí,
Mucho
así es.
gusto. Me han platicado tantísimo de las pizzas menonitas. Soy de la Ciudad de México. Nunca había oído. Me muero de ganas de probar.
Abraham Schmitt Sr. started the restaurant 4 decades ago, introducing pizza with Mennonite cheese. Since then, their popularity has soared, growing into 3 more locations in the region, and now run by his son, Abraham Jr., and grandson Josh.
Espere, si vas a cocinar tienes que ponerte tu shaldu.
Ah, va. Ok.
Ahí está.
Muy guapa. Como Diana, ¿verdad?
Sí, Diana.
Oye, no, me siento muy especial.
Perfecto.
¡Tiene pockets! ¡Tiene pockets! Está divino. Estamos twinning.
Bueno, te invitamos entonces, ya tienes tu mandil, tu chaldiuk.
¿Cómo
Te
se dice?
invitamos.
Shaldu.
Shalduk.
Oye.
Tengo mi shalduk.
Sí, y empezamos a hacer
Hacer
una
pizza.
pizza.
One of their top-selling pizzas is my favorite, the Mexican pizza, featuring a base of refried beans and spicy Mexican-style tomato sauce, showcasing the flavors from both Mennonite and Mexican culinary tradition.
El
La
pepperoni,
mexicana que lleva.
pepperoni,
Ajá.
jalapeño
Ajá.
y el queso fresco.
Ok, qué rico porque
Entonces,
me
si
encanta
gustas,
pepperoni y me
vamos
encanta.
empezando a extender
¿Como cuánto?
simplemente
¿Alrededor?
alrededor.
Oye, this is the first time I can add as much pepperoni as I want into my pizza. This is insane. stacked it up and now I can add as much jalapeños as I want.
Bien, pues sigue el siguiente proceso, que es ponerle
Queso.
el queso.
Ooh, now I get to add as much cheese as I want.
Simplemente lo vas extendiendo, que no se quede todo en el centro, para que cada rebanada y cada
Para que
mordida...
todo tenga mucho de todo.
8. Entonces, que tenga bastante jalapeño.
Ok.
Perfecto. Y
Perfecto.
ya está lista, entonces
Ok.
la ponemos en el horno.
Aquí arriba. Yum.
Así es.
No, se ve buenísimo.
Y eso siempre es la intención, que sea una masa crujiente, ¿sí?
Así.
Sí.
Es como pizza quesadilla, ¿no? Porque tiene los frijolitos y el queso como la costra de queso.
Ajá.
Yo no puedo comer pizza sin picos jalapeños. O sea, está deliciosa. Me platicabas que tu familia originalmente vino con la primera migración de Mennonites a México en 1922.
Así es.
Y venían de
Canadá.
Canadá.
De Canadá. Fue corto después de la Primera Guerra Mundial,
Ajá.
donde Canadá quiso nacionalizar a sus paisanos. Entonces los menonitas, como hablaban otro idioma, tenían otra cultura, no aceptaron esas nuevas leyes en Canadá y es por lo que buscaron un espacio donde poder tener la libertad de escuelas, de iglesias, no hacer el servicio militar y vivir su propia vida en comunidad, ¿sí?
Y platícame, ¿cómo es la vida aquí en Cuauhtémoc?
La comunidad menonita de la familia es el eje. Entonces igual va a ser mucha convivencia familiar y mucha vida social en combinación con iglesias.
¿Y qué tal les gusta ser la comunidad menonita de México? ¿Ustedes se sienten enraizados en México? ¿Les gusta estar aquí?
Orgullosos.
Sí,
¿Orgullosos mexicanos?
Sí, orgullosos de poder convivir con culturas y enriquecer lo que
Ajá.
tenemos, ¿sí?
Claro, porque a mí me decían que Chihuahua es un estado en México que tiene 3 pilares, así me explicaban. Tiene las comunidades indígenas, sobre todo con predominancia rarámuri, la comunidad mestiza de mexicanos y me decían que el tercer pilar muy importante son los menonitas.
Así es,
Sí, entonces una combinación de 3 culturas.
así es. Qué
Ay,
bien.
muchas gracias. Me encantaron las dos, pero la mexicana.
La mexicana, sí.
Sí. We're gonna make a peach and pinole cheesecake. And pinole is corn that's popped or toasted, pretty much like popcorn, and then it's ground. So I'm gonna use the pinole to make the crust for the cheesecake. I have my pot over medium heat. I'm gonna add the popcorn. We're not adding any fat, no butter, no oil. So I'm gonna cover it so that the heat intensifies. Many people add cinnamon, and we're gonna use the canela, which is the Ceylon cinnamon. Many people also add orange rind, and then you can add a sweetener. So I'm gonna add brown sugar. Waiting for the popcorn to finish. Oh, it's doing good. Gonna shake it. As this finishes popping, I'm gonna break a 1 to 2 inch piece of my canela. Look at this. I mean, just so soft. We need the rind of like half of an orange, and then the topping is gonna have peaches, and the peaches cook in orange juice. So let's see how the popcorn's looking like, because it stopped popping. Maybe done. Okay, this is done. I'm gonna pour the popcorn here so they cool a little. Still popping. So we're gonna process in batches. I tried this in the food processor. It works so much better in the blender because you can really finely grind. Leave the corn that didn't pop behind. So I'm adding the orange rind The cinnamon, we're gonna help out the blender and crumble it a little more. And I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm gonna use 2.5 cups to make the crust. I'm gonna melt a stick of butter, 8 tablespoons. In here it goes. I'm gonna measure 2.5 cups of my orange pinole. This 1, 2.5. And I have my butter that melted. I'm gonna pour it right in here. And then I have a buttered pie plate. And I'm gonna spread the pinole with butter here. This will be the crust. Okay, so just go around and you wanna get it kind of as even as you can. You wanna let these cool and firm up in the refrigerator for at least a half an hour, and if you want, overnight. So I'm gonna cover it with plastic wrap. I'm gonna make the filling. I'm gonna add 1 pound of cream cheese, and I'm gonna beat it until it's super smooth. Once it's creamy and smooth, I'm gonna add half a cup of sugar. And then I'm gonna add 2 eggs, but I'm gonna crack them one by one. 1, 2. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, pinch of salt, 1/3 cup of heavy cream, and 1 tablespoon of fresh squeezed lime juice. And that looks beautiful. Okay. These looks nice and firm. And I'm gonna pour these right onto the crust. I'm gonna spread these so it's all nice and pretty. So I have my oven at 350. I'm gonna bake these for about 35 minutes until the top is golden and puffy and it still jiggles a little. As it bakes, I'm gonna make the topping. The topping is gonna be a peach topping covered in a thickened orange juice base. I have my pan here set over medium heat, and I'm gonna get about a cup of fresh squeezed orange juice in here. This is gonna be a cup with 3 oranges. I wanna pour the juice in here. Then I'm gonna make a slurry with 1 tablespoon water and 1 tablespoon cornstarch. This is gonna thicken my orange juice, but before I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons brown sugar to the orange juice. So it's important to make your slurry before you add it in whatever you wanna thicken so that it doesn't clump up. Pour in here. I'm just gonna stir until it thickens. And I think this has thickened as much as it needs to thicken. I'm gonna turn it off. It's 1 pound of peaches. And now I'm gonna add the peaches in here and just toss. As my cheesecake continues to bake, I'm gonna let my topping cool. I took the pinole cheesecake out of the oven and it's been cooling. And this topping has been cooling too. So now I want to put them together. You can see how the topping thickened once it cooled. This has to chill in the refrigerator for at least 8 hours or overnight. But I have one there that's been sitting for me. The crust is so flavorful. Think of sweet popcorn with hints of cinnamon and orange. The texture is beautiful too. The cheesecake filling has a slight tang from the lime juice, and then combined with the peaches that are covered in that orange juice. Topping is so delicious.